See, Dalan, now you can say things, right? We're on Salient Points,
Whatever.
number 113 for June 13th, 2023. I'm Carlos, the master of what, Dalan?
Direct TV cancellations.
Oh, I did cancel that subscription. I don't need it anymore, so I encourage everyone, well, unless they're going to give us a sponsorship or something, but as per the terms of our agreement for now, I'm canceling DirecTV stream until the local games, until I need my local games again in October. But I'm Carlos Macias, the master of DirecTV cancellations. Dalan Kirkwood from up in the mountains, thank you for joining us, sir. Looking a little sleepy over there.
Nah, I hate you.
Case
so
of the
much.
Mondays. You over here questioning me on the outline, like, why didn't we talk about Capcom here? And why didn't we talk about Capcom there? They didn't show crap, Dalan, as we will find out. We will bring it up when we get to it. Luis Mendez on the wheels of steel, of course. He's back. He's alive. We promised you he was alive.
Practice.
Okay. So look, thank you for joining us. Look, we'll get right to it. It's been a busy last week. It's basically been the E3 that never was, because all these, I like how all these companies are like, they're like, we need to get out of E3, we need to get out of LA. It's like, but let's show shit that would normally be around the same time as E3, and let's do it back to back. So that's basically what we got. We got the Xbox showcase, we got Geoff Keighley's game showcase, we got the Capcom thing, Ubisoft. There's a bunch of stuff, but we'll start with the biggest thing for us, anyways, is that the Xbox showcase kind of came out swinging, right? The biggest thing that came out of it, of course, is that they confirmed, I think they had said already the date, right, for Starfield, but now they kind of are like, we made a whole big deal out of it. We even doubled up on the Xbox showcase. It's coming to September 6th. One of the things that was confirmed is that the game is going to be 4K 30 on Xbox Series X, 440p 30 on Xbox Series S. They confirmed that. I know who was it, Todd Howard? He's like, we need all this fidelity in this game, so it's going to have to run at 30 for consistency purposes. They did already, I know some people don't like it, but they already did announce that there's going to be a post-launch story expansion for $34.99 at GameStop. And as far as I'm concerned, that's about as physical as I'm going to get with this game, man, because I'm grabbing it on Game Pass. I don't know about you guys if you're going to try to buy it, but for me, I think I will buy the DLC, and it comes with the Steelbook. Dale's not here this week, but I'm sure he's all over this thing. He might even be getting the extra edition with no game inside. Xbox Game Studio head Matt Booty, we have a couple quotes from him this week. He said it's going to be the fewest bugs of any Bethesda game. We'll kick it off with you, Dalan, since you got plenty to say off wax. We'll give you this platform. What do you think? What did you think of Starfield, man, and all the little details that have come out of it?
I think Starfield is trash. It's total trash. No, I'm good.
That's okay though. That's okay if that's what you think.
No. It's for me. I actually played like the PC version of Star Citizen, and I tried to play Eve Online and stuff like that, and like the Star Trek. What was it?
Because these are exact equivalents to Starfield.
They're not one-to-ones. Carlos, you said this is my platform right now. Shut up.
It is, but we got a lot to get through, Dalan. Like, what's going on here, man?
But shut up. My point being is that I don't know if I could play a large Space Odyssey game like this. All right, it definitely looks very expansive. Plenty of space to actually go through. I think they talked about 1,000 planets or something like that.
Not touching none of those, man. None of these randomly generated maps. I will not go to them. I will not do it.
But the fact is, it just seems like too much to explore. The only thing that actually looked interesting to me outside of the actual space flight were the actual like first-person shooting mechanics, the FPS mechanics. That actually looked like fun to me. And if you going online with the homies like yourselves, that might be the only reason that I even play the game.
I don't know if it's co-op though. Is it co-op? I don't think they said it's co-op.
Is it a single-player game? Because if it's only a single-player game, that makes me not want to get it at all.
Okay, so you're not a fan of Fallout and all the Bethesda games. That's fine.
No, cool. I didn't play any of those games. I tried, but
I'm ready. I'm sort of blackout, and a lot of this stuff we're gonna talk about. To be honest, I'm kind of on blackout, but I saw a lot of the details. I saw a lot of the details and stuff. But I'm just hyped for it. It is unfortunate it's gonna be 30 frames, but whatever, man. We'll believe in Todd Howard, and that he says it's for consistency's sake. Luis, what do you think, man? What do you make of the kind of what we saw from Starfield?
So I knew kind of nothing about this. I just knew about the game, obviously, but I didn't know anything. I didn't see. I don't know if they threw out a trailer, a concept art, any marketing material for it. Since it was announced. So this was the first time I saw anything about the game. Like
Okay.
I checked out that first trailer, and it looked pretty cool. It looked pretty awesome, actually. It obviously, yeah, it does look like there's a shit ton of the game to explore. But I did appreciate that. What surprised me the most is that it wasn't in like the sort of Elder Scrolls. It didn't look like Elder Scrolls mechanics as far as like the character controller.
Mhm.
If you get what I'm saying, like how you control and
Oh, we can
look
say those
around
games
and
are trash. We can say high fantasy games are trash. We can say
yeah.
that.
I
Carlos,
like
leave
the
them
third
alone.
person camera. I like that it wasn't fully first person. There's a third person camera, it looks like as well. And the art style, aesthetic in general, is something that I like that they didn't try to stick to that Elder Scrolls sort of wheelhouse, I guess.
Yeah.
So that it looks pretty. And I mean, Game Pass day one. So like, why not check it out? You
Yeah.
got nothing to lose. So
That'd be the second reason I play it.
Okay. Well, try it
Just
out,
to
dude.
try
Give
it.
it. Give it. Give it a
I
chance.
didn't know it was
Give it
Game
a
Pass.
chance.
I didn't know it was Game Pass day one. I'll do it.
Dan's not even paying attention. The next thing on here is, speaking of Todd Howard, he did say, so he does work on the Elder Scrolls 6 games. It's the same developer, right? And he's saying that probably the next Elder Scrolls 6 game is going to be his last. He did give out a quote. He said, quote, so our ability, like we talked about, to support Starfield, whereas maybe in the old days you would put it out and then you'd go on to a sequel. Now we can support that game for a much longer period of time, which is what our plan is. And then as we look to an Elder Scrolls 6, that is one where I probably shouldn't say this, but if I do the math, I'm not getting any younger. How long do people play Elder Scrolls for? That may be the last one I do. I don't know. So Todd Howard is kind of, kind of looking towards the future. He's like, the next high fantasy game we make, it might be my last, so we'll see what happens with that. We did a couple more quotes. Phil Spencer, they did ask him about like kind of the Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X, and he said, quote, we're pretty set on the hardware we have, even though they announced an Xbox Series S 1 terabyte version, but I guess that's just kind of a hard drive configuration, right? But they also did say that Microsoft has quote unquote turned the corner on first party releases, and like I said, we had more quotes from Matt Booty. He said they plan to release at least 4 first party games a year, and he also did make sure to mention like these game development cycles are getting longer and longer. They used to be 2, 3, 4 years. Now they're 4 and 5 and 6 years. And it's probably no surprise, right, that we see like these games like Todd Howard was saying, like, well, look at the Starfield is probably going to be a game that we support for a while, right? After you put in so much time, development time, you want it to live for a little bit. But Luis, what do you kind of make out of this these Xbox statements?
I mean, based off of that that showcase, it does seem like, what was it? It must have been at least 90, if not 95% of those titles were Game Pass, and if not just Game Pass day one. So
Yeah.
like it does seem like they have a bunch of kind of things lined up, which is good for them because they've obviously been struggling on the title release front. But the thing that interested me the most, what you put here, is like what, because I didn't still kind of catch what he meant by we're set on the hardware we have. Like they're not planning on making an extra like performance version
Well,
or
because
whatever?
some of the questions are, thank you for throwing it back at me. That they were basically asking him is there's going to be another Series X, right? Like another iteration of that. And I think it's coming off the heels of like the Series S, that's like a 1 terabyte version of it for $350. And I think they were like, we're pretty set on the hardware. As far as Xbox hardware is concerned, they're pretty set for a while. And I mean, they could be lying to us, right? I think it used to be back in the day. I know, Dalan, you like to go back into history, but hardware refreshes were used to be maybe like every 5 years, to where I think we've settled now on like maybe every 7 years, 7 or 8 years, so it's one of those things where they're like, they're good, but they came out. When did these consoles come out? 2020, the year of our Lord COVID year 2020. So it's been 3 years, right? Maybe we have 4 more years with them, and then we'll see what he has. I'm sure it's not we're set forever, right? Because we're already dealing with games 3 years in. We're dealing with games. It's gonna be 30 frames. It's gonna be 30, and I don't think Starfield's the last game too. That's gonna be like we're locking it at 30. It's like they're trying to do so much with these games that that I'm pretty sure it's not the first time.
So you're fine with that, but you'll yell at Nintendo about a new Switch, right?
We need a new Switch, dude. That thing's been it's been stinky since the very beginning. It's been pretty stinky since if it came out. So,
but we got a Switch Lite and a Switch OLED.
Those don't count, man. I like the Jamaican accent that came out with the OLED there. I don't know if it was purposeful. OLED. Racial? Don't be racial, dude.
Yeah,
right? This is going out into the world.
10 years than when it came out.
Yeah. So anything else on that, Luis? But as far as kind of the hardware, these cycles are kind of out of control, though, right? Like 4 or 5 years to gaming cycles. But it's that's what it takes, man. These games are huge.
Getting more complex.
Yeah, these games are huge. It's not
easy.
They
take in-depth story, and on top of that, fans pay too close attention to some of these stories now, and they'll be like, "Where's this story thread at?" And like, what do you mean the story thread? Just enjoy the game and what you got. But nah, people are going and finding all their data mining things like what was it, Kotar? They're data mining Kotar because they're missing lines.
Yeah, so it's definitely one of those things. And they also did announce, like we just mentioned, there's going to be a $350.
Sorry, I just saw what Dalan typed on the next one.
What's going on, Dalan? What is happening, man? Dalan, here you go. I pasted it for you, Dalan.
Carbon black.
So they announced the Xbox Series S, 1 terabyte SSD carbon black. It's basically like the one you have under your TV, Dalan, but they gave you more space.
Black speakers,
which is kind of funny. Which is kind of funny that they say we're set on the hardware, and I guess this is kind of like a configuration, right? It's a terabyte, I suppose. But it's interesting to see it because this is obviously still not enough. I mean, even the CD one, the Blu-ray ones, is still not enough to just have 1 terabyte. So I think it's funny that they're like, we might have messed up. 512 gigs or whatever it is not enough. I mean, you have experience with this thing, Dalan. Have you suffered with the 512 version?
I've already had to deal with that. I had to delete games and reinstall games. Like, hey, we playing, what was it, Gears of War 4? Yeah, and then I'll try to install Halo Infinite. Be like, nope, Gears of War's got to go. All right, we're switching back. All right, Halo's got to go.
Can't do it. Well, a terabyte. Do you think a terabyte would make you happy, Dalan? Would that make things a little bit better?
A terabyte would help. But what would really help is if we had 2 terabytes. That would be that's the perfect range for size in regards to how big these games are nowadays. Not including whatever game is coming out that's going to be 100 terabytes or something.
Yeah, these things are definitely out of control, right? It's kind of like a half step, right? Not necessarily all the way there. What do you make of this, Lisa? The fact that we're getting a sort of a revision, I suppose.
I mean, the thing that most attracts me about this model is the finish, like the black color versus the white sort of one that the original speaker version, I guess.
Oh, carbon negro?
Okay, Dalan.
Carbon black, yes.
Okay,
but the thing that this kind of lines up with exactly what it would cost to add another 512 gigs to your current Series S. So it's not, I mean, you're probably just better off getting another terabyte on top of your 512 for another 130, 150, something like that.
You say that, but the SSDs are on sale right now. I just bought a 1 terabyte for $60.
That makes this case even better, Dalan. I don't
if you're doing it just for space, you might as well just buy an external hard drive for
if I were to buy one of these, it would be because I like the what do you call them? The color scheme, I guess.
The case.
Colorway.
There's an actual term for it, but it doesn't really matter. The color scheme, and then I would still buy another terabyte on top of that.
Yeah.
Just because I like the look of it. Yeah. That's really
dude. I'm getting close to grabbing, and the fact that they're on sale, like Dalan was mentioning, I'm getting close to grabbing one for the PlayStation, man, because this thing is it's out of control.
I haven't had to worry about memory for a long time.
It's out of control.
Neither have I. Wait, Carlos, do you still have the original 512 that the PS5 came with?
No, none of them had 512, I don't think. Even the diskless one was a terabyte, I think. I think the only difference was I've had the same one. This is a terabyte, Dalan, I don't know, but interesting. I kind of want to pick your brain. I want to pick your brain on that. Like, where'd you get those facts? Off wax. We'll get into it off wax, Dalan. We'll get into it off wax. I'm like, where'd that come from? The next,
you're like, interesting.
Where'd you come up with this? But yeah, no, I mean, it's the same term. But I kind of getting close, man. Especially the fact that I think I was seeing them for like $60, $70 as far as like a terabyte or something like that. So I'm like, I'm tired of like, do we want to play Warzone? Don't have it. Can we play GTA? Don't have it. And I have to wait multiple hours to download this thing. But anyway, so I think it's really, if you have a regular Series S, I think is what both of you guys said, is just get another terabyte on top of it, right? This is probably for the people that like a Luis, maybe like, I kind of like how it looks. And you get a terabyte out of it, right? And they kind of found a way.
One already.
There you go. Okay, Dalan, you gonna scrape that? It's not gonna fit or something, man. It's gonna be weird.
No, I turned this one into an external hard drive because it was cheap. And I just bought another hard drive, man.
You're doing a lot, man. You acting real whimsy with that thing over there. It's gonna fall and crack.
It's got a case.
Oh, what is it? You're being very nonchalant. Being very nonchalant with that.
Whimsical with it.
You're being very whimsical with it. The next thing we have on here is that Cyberpunk 2077, The Phantom Liberty, we finally got a release date for it. It drops September 26th. I know some people were kind of complaining online that it's a $30 expansion. It's too much. Like, wait, how is that too much? That seems appropriate. But then you dig deeper, and of course, the fans in their infinite wisdom, they're like, it's because Witcher 3 content doesn't cost as much. Like, Witcher 3 content came out 8 years ago, or however long it was. It's like, what are we comparing here? This is a brand new expansion. I do like what Legacy Killer HD said, which, maybe plays into it. He did say the Phantom Liberty Xbox Games Showcase should have been longer because I don't think many people understand the entire gameplay has been overhauled. They've basically, quote unquote, rebooted it with improvements across the board, some of which will be included as a free update, patch 1.7. I'm pretty hyped. First and foremost, Idris Elba is in it. Is featured very generously throughout the DLC. And I was one of the I don't know if I was one of the few, but I remember go back to We Got Comms with my review, and I gave it a pretty favorable review. It reminded me of these games you hate, Dalan. Like you don't like these Starfield games. You don't like Fallout. It reminded me of that, and I enjoyed it.
No, I wanted to play Cyberpunk because it doesn't have to do all that extra expansion thing, and I could just go critical path it. My problem was the game was super buggy, and I had to experience it,
even with all those
even
bugs.
with the slide. But hey, one of them was extra nasty, man. I also wrote about it back then when it actually, like, one of the quest lines was just completely broken, and I couldn't get like a trophy to get the platinum. I spent like 10 hours going back through it and like getting it unbroken and fixed, man. But I enjoyed the game enough. I'm super hyped. September 26th. These games are piling up, man. I don't know. I'm going to be interested to see, as we've mentioned before, but the blast radius, once we know when the next Call of Duty comes out, then they're like, hold on. We thought we said September, but no, maybe it's later or sooner, right? So, but there's a lot of games being announced for September, October, so we'll see what comes out of that. What did you think, Lise? What did you think about this expansion here? Announcement.
Yeah, looks pretty cool. I mean, I didn't play the first one. I have it downloaded, but it's just somewhere in the queue, man. It's somewhere in the queue. I don't know where. But
that backlog is real.
So I can't speak too much to like Legacy Killer here talking about how they've made improvements and changed gameplay and this and that, because I can't really tell. But it looks cool. The $30 price point personally doesn't bug me too much, but I guess that would all depend on how long it is and how much of an overhaul they've done. But at the same time, you got to understand, we bring it back to the classic. These dudes have a lot of money to remake.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing.
2-3 years that they were in the red, right? So I can't blame them for trying to be like, maybe we could push it. How much can we try to squeeze out of this?
I was actually thinking the same. And, they did come out and say, look, this thing is pretty meaty. It's a nice little amount of DLC we're adding. But I kind of thought the same thing, actually, that you're saying. It's like, look, we lost a shitload of money. Our stock price went down. A lot of things happened during that time. Let's try to make it back.
Then they re-improved their player base with the Netflix. I can't remember the name of it right now. Cyberpunk.
Oh, the anime, right?
Edge Runner.
Yeah, Edge Runner, and they got people back into the game. And they're like, let's strike while the iron's hot. Drop something.
There you go. Well, the next thing we have on here is that Obsidian, makers of, well, I think Obsidian officially made like KOTOR 2. They made KOTOR 2, I believe, and they also kind of worked on Fallout New Vegas, which that team went on to become the team that made Outer Worlds. But they're working on Avowed. We've heard about it before. I was not interested at all until someone came out and they said, it's more like Outer Worlds than Skyrim in regards to the size and scope. That's according to IGN. It drops in 2024. I did kind of like retweet or quote tweet and stuff. I was like, I'm hyped now. I mean, a 12-hour game, a 12-hour like RPG-ish, more in the scope of Outer Worlds. Give it to me. Give it to me, please. Dalan, what do you make of this, man? What do you kind of hyped for Avowed?
I saw the trailer, and at first I was like, this looks boring. But then as I got further into the trailer, I was like, okay, I might have to actually play this game. I know I still need to play Outer Worlds, and I know I'm lagging on that because I know how much you love Outer Worlds.
Oh, it's beautiful, man. Mess with it.
But I believe I've missed my calling for that, and I'm just gonna go move on to.
You did not. No. You did not. You have 10 hours. No. You have 10, 12 hours, Dalan. I know your schedule. You act like I don't know you, man. You got 10, 12 hours to spend on a beautiful Outer Worlds.
I've already got a backlog. All right, I still need to go back. Well, you know what? I'm gonna come back to
just do it. Just do it. Just like Nike, Dalan. Damn, my bad. Just like Nike. Just do it.
I still gotta play Hi-Fi Rush, and I'm waiting for Street Fighter 6 to come in.
They're not sending it to you, man.
Hey, once I get Final Fantasy 16, it's pretty much done.
What's done? Your life is done after that.
I'm just gonna be on that.
It might just be. At least what you make of Avowed, man. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, personally, even after watching the trailer, I wasn't super interested. I was like, it looks cool for that sort of type of audience. Maybe it's a nice little, like, clean-looking game as far as visuals go. And it, didn't look too much like Skyrim, which was the one saving grace for me. And I was like, maybe if I have some time. But now hearing that it's shorter, considerably shorter than any Elder Scrolls game. Yeah, you got maybe 10, 12 hours. Because Outer Wilds, you could get through that pretty quick.
Yeah. Worlds or Wilds? Remember, there's a difference. Did you play through Worlds?
I meant to say Worlds.
Okay.
Outer Wilds.
Okay, you did play through Worlds?
I did, yeah.
And it was enjoyable? Mm-hmm. Come on, Dalan. What are you doing here, man? It's on Game Pass. Dalan. And it's at 60 frames. I've been meaning to go back. It was at 30, and they actually were able to get the performance to 60.
Oh, you
shut up! I'm
probably.
Dalan held. Hey, what? Dalan, you held like a pose, like you were waiting to talk, and then just to say shut up. Next thing on here, Forza Motorsport. They're just calling it Forza Motorsport, but it's 8 for those that don't know or do know. Drops October 10th. If Dale was here, he would have had plenty to say on it, but you guys will have to wait. I just wanted to mention.
I'll just let you know that they're over there partnering again with GM Motors or General Motors, and I thought to myself, oh, and meanwhile, Gran Turismo is over there with everybody in like the actual Indy 500 racing scene. So these cars are not going to have the same type of really fast cars that are in Gran Turismo.
Look,
so I'm not sure if I want to do that.
I'm going to take what you just said with like a high amount grain of salt. I'm not really sure. I wish Dale was here to even make sense of what just happened. But I hope for your sake, because
what did Dalan just say?
Because I will give the internet your email address, Dalan, if they ask for it.
You said.
All right, we know what you said. It's on wax.
It's just a matter of how much of it is factual.
Yeah, how much? Dale, help us, man. Where are you? Where is Dale to help us? This one, I think you should know about this, Dan. I will defer to you on this next point. But Persona 5 Tactica, that drops November 17th. Persona 3 Reload, that drops early 2024. As far as Persona 3 Reload, they're saying that it won't include content from FES or Portable, but these two games are coming to Game Pass, so it's gonna be remade, but just the original, content, which is. It was a lot of content. From what I understand, it was a lot of content they added, but it's still a little interesting. What do you make of that, Dalan, that they're like, don't get too hyped. It's just Persona 3 Vanilla that we're remaking over here.
And it's not even a remake, really, even though people are thinking of it as a remake. It's not a remake. It's just an HD version of Persona 3. So I looked at it. It's the exact same gameplay. Story did not change. I think they redid some of the audio. They got some of the actors to come back and redo some of the lines. But other than that, It's the same game.
So they're just polishing stuff they didn't get to when they shipped it, basically.
Yes, and they want people to keep buying Persona 3 because it is one of the fan favorites. But what they didn't understand is that FES is what made the game re-famous again. Because I completely missed Persona 3. I played Persona 1, Persona 2, completely missed Persona 3 even dropped, and then I heard about Persona FES because everybody was talking about it. But they're like, no, we're not going to do Persona FES. We're just going to do Persona 3. Persona Portable was FES, but you could also choose a girl. And they're like, no, we're not going to put the girl in the game. Let's just take out all the rest of the extra content that we put in and just redrop
Yeah, I mean, if they're not going to do a full remake, right, that's kind of weird, right? Like, just throw everything in there, man. What are you guys doing over here?
Just do it. You made the game. But you're going to redo it. You might as well.
But Tactica is a new one, though, right? That's kind of a new game.
Yeah, Tactica is actually Persona 5. It's just an offshoot story. And really, it's one of those things that in order to understand some of the things that are going on, apparently you have to play Persona 5 Royal. I need to be specific.
Man,
because if you don't play Royal, you're missing parts of who these organizations are.
Dalan,
it starts off like
please, man. I'm gonna put the wrap it up music because this is out of control, man. Not because of you, Dalan. Normally because of you, but this is a lot. This is a lot that Atlas slash Sega is doing or whatever over here.
Yeah, it is a lot that they're doing. So last two things I'll actually say is that they made all the characters chibi,
last two
animated.
Things.
Yeah, all right, three.
Good.
They're chibi.
What do you mean, oh, three, man? Stop adding stuff.
No, I'm saying it right now. You don't shut up. I'm not going to get through it. They're chibi, they're animated, and it is straight up a tactics game like Mario plus Rabbids. That's what it's like. You run around, throw some shit, you hurt them.
You could have said like XCOM, Dalan, or something else too.
XCOM, Disgaea, any one of those. Is one of those.
They stay making up words.
They stay making up words. Tactica, Persona 5 Tactica. Anyways, that comes out in a few months. I'm sure they don't care about no blast radius, dude. That shit's gonna come out right in the middle of the.
It's gonna come out whenever the fucking feels like it. Yeah, like, is anybody gonna pay attention to this? I don't know. Just
whatever. Really, look, it doesn't matter. Like, I feel like it's probably polar opposites, right? Whoever buys a Call of Duty and a Persona, so they're like, whatever, man. Whoever's gonna buy it, they're gonna buy it. Whatever. There's not a lot of overlap there. The next thing we have on here, City Skylines 2 drops October 24th. I don't know if we knew the date before. I knew it was coming out, and I know Dale was super hyped because he's a civil engineer over there. But I know. What are you laughing at, Dale? Why the
That's your reason for him enjoying the game.
He said that.
That's what he said.
He literally said that. Go back and listen to the wax, please. But Luis, you're interested in it, I suppose. You kind of hyped about this.
So I knew about the first game and it looked interesting. I never got into it. I knew it was on Game Pass, but this one, looking at the trailer, I was like, oh damn, this looks like super polished and well done. And they've apparently added like countless of additions to the game that weren't in the first one or that were later added through DLC. So that's already just the base game now. But also sort of through osmosis, I guess. So this is like one of the games of two games, I think, that my brother plays. Like, he has an Xbox and he bought it like to play City Skylines.
He's like, I need it.
Just for that game.
So yeah, I saw this trailer and I immediately sent it to him and he was like, yeah, this thing looks freaking awesome.
This is up my alley. This is up my alley right here. All right, City Skylines drops Game Pass. I think all this stuff is Game Pass. Yes. All this is Game Pass, man. So everything we've been talking about
on PC right now, apparently. I just looked.
There you go. You go. The next one, I'm hoping you guys can help me out on it. I saw a little bit of it, but didn't see too much. There's a new game called South of Midnight. I believe it's from what is the Few Children game or something like that, or We Happy Few or whatever that game was, right? So
Happy Few.
So South of Midnight. Dylan, help me out a little bit. What's going on with this? You're pretty hyped about it. This reveal.
I'd say the reveal, really I just wanted to talk about the trailer itself because the animation looked excellent and I love my stop motion sort of clay animation that they actually do because those are some of our favorite movies like Coraline and Kubo and the Two Strings. And they put that into a video game. Hey, you put that into a video game and you make it look beautiful and run smoothly, I'm in for it. And the one thing I didn't like about this trailer was the main character had this piece of paper where it had a drawing of a monster. It was the most childish drawing of a monster in your life.
Dalan, let him be a child, man.
No,
that's pretty messed up.
The main character is not a child.
He values it.
Is not a child.
Also, look, I agree. I love my claymation,
way,
but I didn't like the fact that you said that we love so much. Don't be including me in these we statements, all right?
Don't put
but
me in
I
there.
mean, I agree. I do love my claymation as well. And Kubo was amazing, by the way. But come on, Dalan. At least, what do you make of this?
So, Dalan, possibly, let me throw in a little possible lore. What if a child drew it and gave it to her? What if her brother or sister drew it and was like, there's a monster that's trying to kill me?
That's
a little more acceptable.
The one complaint that I personally had, which was not the drawing of this, is that I wanted to see gameplay. We didn't see gameplay in this reveal trailer. I know that they said watch the Ubisoft whatever to see the gameplay or something.
It wasn't there either.
I didn't see any gameplay there. So that's the one thing where I'm like, I like the art style, I like the trailer, but I don't know what the gameplay's like, so I can't really have an opinion.
Okay.
Ubisoft got you. They hooked you. They said, I'm going to show you something excellent, and now you got to try and follow up and figure out what it is.
No, and then I just threw it in the trash.
And then just threw it in the trash bin. Threw it in the trash bin to clear later.
You're like, this was the extent of my following up. I'm done.
Until they show up in my feed, that's when I'll see it.
I'm kind of, you know what? I kind of skipped over it. I gotta be honest with you. I kind of skipped over it, but now I'm, now that you guys are interested, you kind of piqued my interest here. The other game is Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 that drops in 2024, which is about the time I'm gonna go back to the original and actually play through it. But from what I understand, from what I remember, the audio is incredible in that game. So I know when I go back to that, I'm gonna have my headphones on. But what do you make of it, Dalan? You played through the first one?
I played through half the first one. I did not game tape solve it, but everything that I touched in that game was excellent.
Whoa.
That was
crazy.
Luis, calm down.
Crazy. He's right.
No, Carlos, you're the reason I got these headphones is because we were playing Senua's Sacrifice. And you said, no, Dalan, you have to play it with headphones. And then you handed me your headphones. I'm like, damn, I got to get me some headphones.
Wait,
because
these headphones that you have on right now that are duct taped together and with like...
I purchased a new pair. This is a new pair.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So
but no, I'm talking about my original time where I got big old muff earphones. Okay. You're the reason I got them, and Senua's Sacrifice was that deciding factor because of all the whispers that they had going on and the surround sound that they had in it. And I know they had a lot of motion capture that they did with that game, and it was I believe they had new technologies that they included in that game, and they did it excellently. They executed that game almost perfectly.
All right, so we got high hopes for Hellblade 2, and I'm gonna make sure to go back and beat it, I guess, before that drops.
Yeah, we gotta go back and play that game before this comes out. We have until next year.
That's my deadline. Another game they showed, of course, is Payday 3. That drops September 21st. We haven't played Payday, man. I feel like we gotta go.
I have.
Well, no.
Get you to play
collectively, Dalan, the Wii, the royal Wii. We haven't played it together. Maybe if this is finally it, or I think we could probably even play Payday 2. I feel like that's easily accessible. But Payday 3 drops September 21st. Luis, we'll go to you first, man. What do you make of it? What do you we getting down with some Payday 3?
So it's a very much appreciated visual overhaul from this game, because that was kind of the one thing about 2 when I played it, where I was like, oh, it looks interesting, but the visuals just kind of look like
cartoonish.
It was sort of not necessarily an afterthought, but it wasn't their priority, right? They wanted to get the mechanics down or whatever. But on top of that, this game is Payday 2, at least, is something that for me works as a concept, but I don't think the developers necessarily pulled it off completely. Because when I was playing it, I was like, oh, this feels like it should be fun, but it just
but it's just not. But it's just not. So hopefully,
so that's the one thing where I'm like, hopefully they've had a lot of time since the second one to try to get this one. So hopefully that improves. But I remember the one thought I had when the trailer came in, I was like, oh man, I just wish some other developer took this idea and ran with it, because I don't know if I trust these guys.
And it's funny because I think is it Starbreeze still? Starbreeze made like Chronicles of Riddick, from what I remember. That game was incredible on the Xbox. I don't know if you guys ever played that, but I think it's Starbreeze from what I remember. But yeah, I think I kind of agree with you, man. I remember playing 1 and 2. I'm like, this is great, but there's something missing. There's a fun factor here.
Hey,
that maybe
sure
the third time's the charm.
That same feeling with the next one.
Yeah, maybe third time's the charm. It feels like it looks a little bit better. It still doesn't look necessarily super incredible, right? But it looks a little bit better. What about you, Dalan? What'd you make of it?
Like I was saying, I think we're gonna have that same. We might have that same issue with the third one, but then again, they're going the route of, you know what? I had the name of the game in my head, where you have a bunch of operators and you guys are going head to head in just an arena. But
Team Fortress,
apparently,
no?
Huh?
Team
no,
Fortress,
it's not
no.
Team Fortress. It's way more realistic.
Okay.
But in this particular one, even though yes, you're doing heist, apparently there's a mode where you're gonna have a bunch of people versus a bunch of people who are also police officers. So they're trying to capture the people who are doing the heist, and people are like going through windows and stuff like that. So you got SWAT versus the robbers, and in a sense that reminds me of Counter-Strike, and we'll see how that works.
Oh, that's
out,
what I was
but...
gonna guess next. So, like, you thinking Counter-Strike? Those were just skin swaps, though. Those were mostly skin swaps, though. Except like you got a cop weapon, and now this is a terrorist weapon. But yeah, so Payday 3 Game Pass, so we can check it out, right, and see if we're gonna like it. Next thing we have
Rainbow Six. That's what
Rainbow Six. All right. The next thing we have on here is that Fable finally got sort of a trailer reveal, and it was a big deal that Richard Ayoade came out. I thought he was like Ayoade. Thank you very much. I thought he was a Big Bang Theory actor, but no.
Yeah, I was gonna hit you up about that.
But I think he was in the IT crowd or something. I didn't watch any of these shows, man. I don't know what to tell you. But what is this a big deal, Dalan? I guess we'll go to you with this one first. Is this a big deal that this man is in this game? I suppose.
He's a huge British comedy actor, and he did things like Box Trolls, The IT Crowd. He was not in The Big Bang Theory. He's been on another show called The Big Fat Quiz of Everything for a number of years now, and he's really well known in Britain.
Okay.
So the fact that he's in this game doing his thing, being comical as hell, it's just great. I watched the trailer, and he is the reason I watched the trailer, because he made it way funnier.
There you go. So it kind of brings some little hype level to Fable whenever that comes out, because they didn't give a release date. They didn't nothing, right? It was like,
and he is going to be a character in the game with his likeness. He's apparently going to be a giant.
Apparently,
there you go. Nice. So what do you think? At least from what we saw from Fable.
So I've never played any of the. This is the third one in the series.
I think I think this might even be a reboot. But if you're considering the lineage, I guess it would be the fourth.
Have been made, that's it.
I think the fourth, I believe.
All I know about these games, because I've never played any of them, is that this is kind of like the half-life of this genre. I guess that people are like, they're never gonna make another one. Like that's kind of the situation, right?
Yeah, for a long time it was like
yeah. So I knew that this was a big deal because my Twitter was blowing up about this. Everyone was like, Fable, whatever. Never played them. I might just hop in and check this one out. But the trailer kind of threw me off a bit, because there were sections where I just honestly could not tell if it was gameplay or if it was like a pre-rendered video or something. Because there were some things that kind of threw me off in like Uncanny Valley wise, where like the characters, they look realistic, but then the way that their face was animated, I was like, oh, there's like a disconnect there. Like, I don't know, it's so weird to me.
No, all the Fable games have always had that cartoonish characteristic to it on purpose. It's just the way they've made them. And none of the games really connect to each other. So if anything, I would say go ahead and start playing either Fable 2 or Fable 3, because those are currently on the game. No.
They're rough, man. They're rough. If you go back, they're
not even that rough. They're
Wait
not that rough. They are comical. That's the whole thing about Fable. It's like going into the world of Shrek. That's what Fable is.
But it's
that
com-
could be the disconnect for me then, because it's like it's not super realistic looking, but it's rendered in a way where it does look like that, but they're cartoony. Maybe that's where it's like disconnected.
Well, and
it's very much updated the graphics.
Well, and it's comical in like a British sense too. Like it's very like British and stuff. So if
wait.
There you go. I don't blame you. Next thing, real quick, I'm gonna mention this that Monkey Island is gonna have a crossover with Sea of Thieves, 3 episodes. The first one drops in July. I wouldn't normally care, but I thought it was kind of interesting that the original creator of Monkey Island, Ron Gilbert, was apparently like didn't know it was happening. And then later on, VGC kind of came out and was like, no. I was made aware of the project, but it was quote unquote well into development and quote wasn't given the opportunity to be meaningfully involved at that point, end quote. So I thought that was kind of interesting, where it's like, damn, these guys really don't give a fuck out here. There's like, we know the man, we have his email, we know where he lives, we have his Twitter.
It's fine.
We're just gonna start working on it without him. That's fine. He won't care.
We couldn't find him.
We couldn't find him. Then there was another 33 Immortals. That's going to be a co-op action roguelike for 33 players that comes out in 2024. If Deo was here, he'd be super hyped, I'm sure, of the Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. That drops in early 2024. And that's supposed to be like a Dragon 8 or something. So it's part of the lineage, I suppose. It looks kind of cool. They showed a naked protagonist on the beach, so that was
the Coke commercial.
Yeah, so that was
like
interesting.
The shot selection for that trailer, how they kind of kept the creative ways of how they were blocking out his situation.
They keep it wacky. They don't take themselves too seriously in this Yakuza / Like a Dragon series. The other thing that was mentioned, of course, was Star Wars Outlaws that drops in 2024. It's going to be an open world narrative driven game by Massive Entertainment, who, Dalan, you'd be happy to know they made Division 1 and 2. What do you make of what you saw, Dalan, for Star Wars Outlaws?
Considering that I just got through playing a whole bunch of Star Wars stuff, this actually looked really good to me. And on top of that, they weren't like, all right, let's just throw a Jedi into this one because everybody loves Jedis and lightsabers. No, they said, we're going to make a smuggler or a thief. And we're going to actually just throw them into a game, give you a gun, be the Han Solo type. It actually reminded me that there was a game that came out on Nintendo 64. Yes, I know it was a terrible system, but I enjoed Shadows of War.
Shadows of the Empire, right?
It was Randolph Scott, and I enjoyed the hell out of that.
Randolph Scott, huh? Damn.
That was the main character's name.
Damn.
But now you got a new person, and years later, it actually looks good. They got some Uncharted movement going on. Yes, open world on speeders, flying in your ship, which I'm sure they're going to have to take out some of that stuff, but it looks great.
You okay? Luis, what do you make of it?
So the trailer, the reveal trailer, looked interesting, and it seems like a good sort of story, I guess, or scenario world kind of that they've built there. But I literally, as Dalan was talking, I was scrubbing through the gameplay reveal because that's the one thing I didn't see. So it looks interesting. It looks like it could be pretty cool. But we'll see. Yeah, that's the one thing where I just wasn't fully convinced yet. But to be fair, I was just kind of clicking through a video real quick. So.
No, your original thing was I was checking out the Ubisoft Forward thing for one game that wasn't even showed, so I gave up on it. He threw it out. Remember?
There you go.
No, I gave up. I didn't give up on the whole Ubisoft thing. I watched all of it.
Yeah. So Star Wars Outlaws that comes out in 2024. I'm pretty hyped about another. They've been all right. They've been, especially the Jedi games. Well, this is going to be a different team. Let's hope they do a good job on it. The other thing, they did mention a Clockwork Revolution. Microsoft did come out and say that any comparisons to BioShock Infinite are quote unquote unintentional, to which I call bullshit. It's very unintentional. It looks just like BioShock, man. It looks exactly like BioShock, which is a selling point, at least to me. I'm like, that's interesting to me. I understand that sometimes it's kind of like, people complain about samey type of games. But like, people don't really try to do BioShock Infinite games, or it's very hard. Just ask Atomic Heart how it went for them. That's on Game Pass, by the way. Go ahead and try it out. Luis, what did you make of Clockwork Revolution, or the fact that Microsoft is like, no, it's our own game? It's different.
Yeah, I'll touch on both. It looks cool. It looks cool. I like how the gameplay looks and the art direction that they have going there. And speaking of the art direction, I do feel like a lot of people, just because something is Art Deco, like the sort of what do you call them? Like the buildings and all that stuff, of the whole thing as a whole. Anything that's Art Deco, people are like, oh, that looks like BioShock.
That's BioShock.
Because that's the first place that people have seen it.
Yeah.
So I do think it was unintentional. But it does sort of have some elements where it's like, oh, kind of like the way she holds a gun or whatever.
Yeah.
So, or there's a blimp in the sky, I guess, even though it's not.
There's a blimp in the sky.
Yeah, which it's really funny. Like I recently heard an interview with Ken Levine. It was on Colin's Last Stand. That they were interviewing him, and he was talking about how the whole Art Deco thing came about when he was like on vacation in New York. And some of like the old, was it New York or Washington D.C.? One of these like cities that go back in time. He's like, I like this, and he kind of got the inspiration of the Art Deco from just being about town. And he's like, this would work on the 360 because it's like kind of big and it's very like the shapes are very like clean, right? So as far as the computational power, it's like it's gonna work well for the 360. And now people, instead of like overcomplicating, it's like Art Deco, let's just do that. And obviously we can handle more than quote unquote simple shapes of it or whatever. But I'm sorry, Luis, did I step on your line there? Did you have anything else before
no,
go to
that
Dalan?
Was kind of it. Yeah.
Dalan, what did you think, man, of any of the comparisons or whatever you think about Clockwork Revolution?
For the comparisons, I feel like they kind of did it on purpose, but at the same time, especially when you're a game developer and you want to create a series that you want to be able to make more of, or at least make enough money to make more of, you generally want people to compare your game to other video games, not the other way around. You want your game to be the baseline if you can help it. So it's just one of those things that even if they did try to copy BioShock, they're still going to try to distance themselves from it. But
they do it on purpose, right? They're like, we want to bring people in. Yeah, it looks like BioShock.
It's like that wasn't our intent, but here we go. But here we are. And again, it's this is a game that I'm probably gonna play, simply because when you start messing with time properly, I'm pretty much in it.
Okay, dude. I need to mess with time. If you tell me I can mess with time, I'm in. All right. Well, the Clockwork Revolution, I don't think we got a release date or anything like that for that, right? So that one's maybe a little bit out. At the time of the publication of this podcast, later today, there's going to be a Microsoft Xbox Game Showcase extended that will feature games not at the main showcase. So that'll be interesting. If you guys are interested in that, check it out later today. Dalan, I know you guys put yes. I'm not sure if that's what you thought the topic would be.
No. I know what you were thinking, but the reason I put yes is even though, yes, they're going to have the later showcase, there were actually a few games that we didn't touch base on in this particular rundown. And I just want to bring up that Path of the Goddess looked excellent too. I remember a game a while back called Genji Way of the Warrior or something like that. That was a very fun game. There was another one called Metaphor Refantasio. I can't even pronounce it. It's basically the people of Persona said, we're going to make a new IP. So obviously, if you like,
that's why they can't give
regular
you
Persona.
That's why they can't give you the extra content, Dana. They're working on a brand new game.
They can't give you the extra content. Let's make a tactics game, but let's put the rest of our energy into this game. That's what happened there. Dragons of Hinterberg actually looks really interesting. A good action adventure puzzle game. And Towerborn, basically Castle Crashers. But, it's 4-player. We could go murder some stuff. We played Ninja Turtles, and I think we'd probably enjoy playing that game, too.
I'm sure. I'm happy, Dan. They showed us a lot. Man, at this Xbox Showcase. I think they did a pretty damn good job. Luis, what do you... I don't know if you have your own list, or you were just thinking about the stuff they're going to show later.
I just blew through it real fast.
There must have been something that... before you kind of cleaned it up that triggered me to say yes, but I can't remember what it was now.
So we'll move on. I do like this quote from Victor Lucas before we move on to kind of Keighley's or Key 3. So some people are calling it Summer Game Fest. But Victor Lucas, who does Electric Playground, he's been doing that for a long time now. He said, quote, "It's going to be tough to get through Starfield before Spider-Man 2. What a year. This game looks incredible." Wow. Dan, what did you put yes on Victor Lucas's comment here? What did you think?
You cracked me up, but the backlog is real, man. That's just
it's gonna grow.
It's gonna grow. And he just said as soon as Spider-Man 2 comes out, he said he's done. Like I said, when Final Fantasy 16 comes out, I'm done. That's pretty much what it is. There are just specific games that when they drop, you're just in that one. Whatever the fuck you're playing is suddenly gonna be on wait mode.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough, man. I'm gonna try my best to make there, because Starfield, it's there. It's Spider-Man 2 for sure is there, and that's actually one of the things that got announced at Key3 or at Keighley Summer Game Fest, is the fact that we're gonna get Spider-Man 2. It's gonna come out October 28th. So that was made official. Other than that, the big thing was, of course, that Final Fantasy Rebirth is coming, and it's gonna be on 2 discs. It drops early 2024, and that was a big deal, Dalan. Was it a big deal that the fact that they said it's coming out on 2 discs, or what do you make of this?
It was a bit of a surprise based on all the stuff that they were saying beforehand, because when they originally announced the fact that Final Fantasy VII was coming out, or at least the remake, they said it was gonna be 8 discs. And then they brought it down to 4, and then they said we're gonna be doing seasonally, so we're just gonna do the first disc, and then later on we'll come out with the second disc, and then we'll come out with the third disc. But this
is that
time
what
they're
they
like,
said?
no, we're gonna.
I want to go back and kind of check you on these. I feel like they say things that are so wacky that you could potentially be right on track on this, Dalan. Like that sounds like some shit they would say. But I kind of want to go back.
That was a thing that they had said, or at least in regards to the fact of how they were potentially going to release this game, because they know how huge the game is. Yeah. I mean, the original game was 3 discs, and that was PS1. I wouldn't be surprised if this game was 8 discs. However, if you want to tell a complete story and not be like to be continued every single time, then you might want to do a couple of double discs.
Yeah, so PS1, these CDs held what, 700 megabytes. These Blu-rays hold like what, 4, or like aren't they double sided or something like that, where it holds up to like 10, 16 gigabytes or something like that. I don't know. It holds a lot.
It's like 32 gigabytes or something. I got a spindle around here somewhere.
Okay, Dalan. Oh, you got Blu-ray spindles? What you need Blu-ray spindles for, Dalan? What do you
I got a Blu-ray burner. Why would I not use it?
Why are you trying to burn Blu-rays, Dalan? The Bluray is a thing of the past.
Move on.
But yeah, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah, you're like, hold up. Well, I'm invested in this story now.
Wait, what do you got a spindle for, Dalan? I remember having spindles. Trust me, back in when we used to burn CDs and all that, I remember having a whole bunch of spindles, and I would write on top of them. I
got a whole box of spindles because I never got rid of them, but I moved on to digital with my nice slim 1 terabyte hard drive
that you insist on trying to break on air, but that's fine. So Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, my body is ready, man. I thought it was coming out this year though, but it's not, right? Early 2024. Fine, perfect. That's what they said. Early 2024. We have it right here in the rundown, Dalan. I have it right here. What are you confused about, Dalan? They said early 2024.
I was thinking about a different game, and continue on.
Okay. You're probably still thinking about how much you want Persona 3 remake, even though they're not going to give you everything you want.
A proper remake, if anything. You know what? Stop making me upset.
The other thing, Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis Beta is actually coming as June 8th. That's the mobile version of whatever they're trying to do. So that's still coming. The other thing is I am on media blackout for this, but I just want to let you guys know that Alan Wake 2, there's a new trailer. I'm hearing all kinds of things. I'm hearing they're inspired by... what was it? A True Detective. Oh, I loved me some True Detective, man. And so I'm ready. And I liked Alan Wake 1 enough where I had to kind of tap my headlight, or what is it, the flashlight to turn on and scare away the bad guys, the baddies. Go ahead, Dalan. What, you got something to say, or what's going on over here?
No, I ain't got nothing to say. It's redacted. Move on.
I'm hearing you going like, that's always sometimes like the sign. But
all right. What I was thinking was, I'm gonna bring it up. Okay. Now that you cast me into this light, I was thinking that True Detective was made by the same people who did True Crime Streets of LA or whatever. But I don't know. I'm pretty sure that wasn't the case. That's why I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna say it.
That's why you went. That's why you went. Like you're retracting your. Okay, Dalan. I see. I don't think so. The connection for those is more The Wire. I think the people that worked on The Wire worked on the LA True Streets or whatever. So that's maybe, I think, more the connection. Anyways, we'll move on. Sandland was also announced from Dragon Ball creator Akira Toriyama. I don't know if he's worked on other video game type projects. I remember the last big one was Blue Dragon, when Microsoft were like, we're going to take over the Japanese market. And, that shit has not turned out very well for him. Go, Dalan.
Chrono Trigger, Blue Dragon.
Since Blue Dragon.
No, there was Dragon Quest. Yes.
Yeah, but these are older. I'm saying like since Blue Dragon, I guess. Since Blue Dragon. Has he worked on anything?
I think Blue Dragon was probably the last one. Or it depends on when Dragon Quest 12 came out. So whichever one he worked on first.
I feel like I rest my case. But anyways, from what you saw from this Sandland, what'd you make of it, Dalan? You hyped for another Akira Toriyama joint?
Hey man, he's creating himself another universe. He took his Dragon Ball universe dinosaur section and said, we're gonna make this into an entire world, and we can't have Saiyans this time, so let's have demons. So it's humans and demons trying to live together on a planet, and there's dinosaurs.
I like it, man. Look. That guy has a nice little wacky, like everything is like circles. Or bulbs. I don't know, bulbous. I don't know what you want to call
orbs.
it. Everything is orbs, right? With this man, all his art is like orbs. Orbs everywhere. Spheres. Everything is spheres. It's cute. It's cute. So I'm down for it. Sandland should be coming out at some moment in time. The other thing is, of course, is Sonic Superstars was announced. It's going to be a 4-player co-op game from the team that made Balan Wonderworld, Dalan. Just so you know, like that's how much excite you should have that it's Arcest that's making this game. But I did like that Steven Totillo from Axios was like, but they worked on Yoshi's New Island and Hey Pikmin before the disaster that was Balan Wonderworld, who one of the creators, Yuji Naka, is in jail right now. He is serving a jail sentence for go ahead, Dalan, please.
All right, so I know that
I like how you were rocking out with that.
That was funny.
Let us determine if it's funny, Dalan. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, it's not funny that he's in jail, but he did this to himself.
He's racketeering, man. When you racketeer and/or profiteer, there's chances that you will end up in the cárcel.
You said that very wrong, but that was funny.
And it was in Spanish. Go ahead,
insider trading and/or racketeering.
Oh, there you go.
But when it comes to Sonic, of course, I've said it before. Sonic is a Sonic issue. You never know if it's going to be hit or miss. And this time, with them getting the people who did Balan Wonderland, they looked at Sonic and said, "You know what? The 3D games are way too hit and miss. So let's just make it side-scrolling, and let's take everything good about the original games." And mash it into one game and make it co-op. So you can play with all 4 characters. They keep switching the art style to 3D, 8-bit, 2D.
Like 2.5D or whatever it is.
Yeah, then they throw in the old school Sega Genesis, like the bonus level where you're breaking the crystals. They were doing all kinds of stuff for all of those games. And it's basically shattered dimensions of the Sonic realm. They just throwing them all.
Are we messing with this or no? I mean, I'm pretty sure they're gonna charge us for it. It's not a Game Pass thing, so
nah, it's not a Game Pass thing. But I don't mind trying it. Okay. And if I don't like it, I'll take it. I'll send it back. But it's a side-scrolling Sonic. Right. They haven't done too many bad versions of those. Yeah. Apparently, people didn't like Sonic Episode 2, Sonic 4 Episode 2, whatever it was. But other than that, they're doing pretty good.
That was a deep cut. Let me find out which episode of all the episodes they didn't like 2. They didn't like season 4, episode 1.5. They didn't like that one.
Hey, Sonic 4 episode 1 was actually okay. That's the only reason they even made an episode 2. Yeah. And that game did not do it.
All right, so that's coming out. I'm sure we'll maybe try it out. The next one, this one's for you as well, Dalan. Jean-Claude Van Damme will appear in Mortal Kombat 1. I mean, it just fits, right? It just fits that the man from Bloodsport would show up in Mortal Kombat, right? At some point in time.
You gotta understand, he was supposed to be in Mortal Kombat. He was supposed to be he was supposed to be Johnny Cage, but when he turned around and turned down the role,
or was he too coked out on the Street Fighter set, hanging out with Kylie Minogue?
No, that period of time was way far apart from each other.
I don't think it was that far apart, Dalan. We're talking like 92 to 93 or something, all right? It's like a year apart or 2 years apart.
Yeah, it was like 2 years apart. But the only reason that they were even trying to choose Jean-Claude was simply because he did Bloodsport, and they wanted him for it. But he was like, no, I'm not going to do it.
Well, they're finally... He's finally going to show up. That's another September game, Dan. That's another September game. Mortal Kombat, man. Mortal Kombat 1. The other thing is, Dan, they keep breaking your heart. They said they're gonna do the Sands of Time remake that, and then they said, whatever, it'll come out whenevs. But they did announce a new one called Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown that drops January 18th, 2024. It's supposed to be a side-scrolling game. Geoff Keighley did say that he played it. It was 60 frames per second on Switch. It was super smooth. The villains, just to kind of dig it in there, dig the knife just a little bit more into you, Dalan. They said there will be Sands of Time's powers in this game, but only the villains will be able to use them. I do like what Jeremy Peel, he's a PC gamer and Edge writer, said. He said, quote, "I would like to remind the people trashing this game before we've seen anything of it that Ubisoft Montpellier made two of the greatest 2D platforms of all time in Rayman Origins and Legends. Maybe don't panic the publisher into canceling it. Maybe this guy's like a Canadian guy, maybe with the A at the end. But what did you make of it, Dalan? Prince of Persia: The Last Crown. Are you just sad that they won't make the Sands of Time yet again?
Yes, I'm still sad that they're not remaking or they're not continuing the Sands of Time, as it has been indefinitely placed on hold, not officially canceled at any particular point. But they said, all right, let's just pivot and make a new Prince of Persia. And the one thing, even though people are trashing it simply because it is 2D, they don't want it to go the way that Assassin's Creed did. I'm fine with them going to 2D simply because Prince of Persia was originally 2D to begin with. I mean, it was originally a puzzle type game rather than an action platformer. So I'm actually excited to see where they take it. And I'm still down to actually run the story because I love my platforming games. I mean, they had Metroid Dread, and that was excellent.
Yeah, but that's Metroid Dread. Yeah, I mean, that's...
And it's still Prince of Persia, so if they do it right, I'll still be fine.
There it is. The next thing they mentioned on here was that Cocoon from Limbo and Inside was announced. I didn't see too much on it. I kind of want a media blackout from it as well. But Luis, you took a look at it. You took a glance at it, man. You kind of hyped about Cocoon here.
Yeah, if you're on blackout, I won't say too much because I did see like a trailer about it. But the one thing to kind of keep in mind about this game is that they mentioned it's the lead level designer that worked on Limbo and Inside, but it's not Playdead. It's not the same developer, right? So keep that in mind. That's the one thing where I kind of... It still looks interesting. It looks interesting, but it doesn't look like it was made by Playdead, if that makes any sense.
Okay, there you go.
So kind of... That's the one, not even reservation, but just the one thing I'm like, well, I'm still check it out, but I won't kind of go in expecting a Playdead game, if that makes any sense. So.
Okay. So, but they got you hyped from what you saw, from what they showed.
Reasonably, maybe.
Okay. Ooh, reasonably hyped. I like that little callback there. The other thing is, if Dale was here, he'd be pretty hyped about this. Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, drops this fall, 2023. I put in here Dale Coke joke. I didn't actually type it in here, but he basically something along the lines of, "This man is on coke," and I'm like, okay, Dale. I kind of wanted him to explain himself, but he's not here this week. But he definitely said this man is on coke, so that's fine. Go check out Dale's Twitter and hit him up about that. The next thing, of course, is Ubisoft Forward had their own kind of showcase. The big thing from there, for us at least, is that Assassin's Creed Mirage is dropping October 12th. AC codename Jade closed beta. Did you put this in here, Dan? Did you sneak this into the rundown, man? Somebody snuck this in.
I snuck it in the rundown because it's still Assassin's Creed, but it's the Assassin's Creed Japan, basically.
Okay. Okay, that's what that was.
They were both shown at the same time.
All right. But what do you make of Mirage? Are you hyped about it? What are you thinking about AC Mirage from what we saw?
My problem with Assassin's Creed in general is their stagnation on their battle mechanics. Because don't get me wrong, Assassin's Creed stories are always excellent. But if you have a hard time getting through the game because the battle mechanics get stagnant, it's hard to actually get through these very lengthy, high-end lore games. So hopefully they're able to find a balance between their gameplay and their story, rather than a whole bunch of fetch quests. But the thing that actually excited me about Mirage was the fact that they were actually bringing back their parkour system. That was something that was egregiously missing from the last couple of games. Don't get me wrong, you could jump on stuff and climb things and you stab people, but without that nice parkour system that they had in Assassin's Creed 2, it was very much lacking the fun of traversing buildings. Okay. It's like taking the swinging out of Spider-Man. Why do you take the swinging out of Spider-Man?
Yeah, and so what'd you make of Codename Jade? I guess that was a kind of a
the same. It's the same thing, but this one I'm more excited for the time period and placement of it, because I was waiting for them to really try and incorporate Japanese culture into one of their games, because they did China, Russia, I think one was Latvia or something like that, but they never touched base on Japan, and they have many.
This is a side scroller, right? This kind of in the vein.
No,
this is
Codename Jade is 3D. Okay. It is a full Assassin's Creed game. Okay. And there's a beta. There's a closed beta that you can currently go and sign up for as we speak.
Lise, what do you make of Mirage or Codename Jade? What are your thoughts on these two things here?
I don't know what Jade is. This is the first I'm hearing about it.
It was in the video.
Dalan, you snuck it in. See, Dalan's the one that snuck it in there. Good job.
I didn't watch the video because I've already seen the one from a while ago, right? Mm-hmm. Or was it in that same one that was like a week ago or whatever? No. This is a different. It was today, right? Or yesterday or whatever. Ubisoft Forward.
I agree.
It was an Ubisoft Forward yesterday, and they actually had one from like a month or two ago, and they showed the gameplay.
So that one that I saw, I don't remember seeing Jade in, the one that was like a month ago, and I've seen enough of the game. I know I'm gonna get it, so I didn't watch it.
He's like, I'm dead.
Media@blackout.com. So Mirage, though.
When you talk about Mirage or Jade?
I'm talking about Mirage. I don't know shit about Jade. So Mirage, I like that. It seems like it's going back to its roots, right? Not just in the parkour system or whatever, but in general as like a game and combat and all that. It seems like it's going back to the original first 3 games that were the Ezio sort of storyline. Okay. So that's the part that has me excited about it.
It's funny. My wife was looking at the trailer when the first one dropped, and she was like, "Wait, is this Altair? Is this the first one? Are they remaking it?" That's how far back they went. They really went back to the roots.
Yeah, because it's like 800 and 812, year 812 or something like that, right? They're going way back. It's kind of hard for me to kind of get excited about this Assassin's Creed games. I think the last one I dabbled into a little bit was Origins, but I don't know, man. I we'll see. I mean, October is gonna be very busy. September, October, November, it's gonna be super busy. So I don't even know when I'll really get to this. But I'm glad you guys are kind of looking forward to it. Besides that, of course, Ubisoft is still reminding us that Skull and Bones exists. There's gonna be a closed beta coming. We'll see what comes of that. That thing's been getting delayed after so many times. The Crew Motor Fest also drops September 14th. So if you guys are excited for that, make sure to check it out. And the other thing was the Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. That comes out December 7th. Just narrowly missing that impact radius, I'm sure. But they might regret it. I think, wasn't there some games? I think... what's that Dead Space game? Not a Dead Space game that we were... Oh, Callisto Protocol. They were a little Callisto Protocol. I think Callisto Protocol, they kind of regretted that a little bit, right? I think they might have even said, December was an interesting time frame. But it is Avatar, though. It is Avatar, and this thing's like huge. So December 7th for Avatar might be all right. What you make of it, Dalan?
Man, you are talking about Avatar, a very well-known series. So people are going to look at Avatar and say, right? I want it. Yeah. Franchises, period. Then you're also talking about Ubisoft making a large world out of it. And they're pretty good at building their large worlds, with the exception of like a couple of buggy games that they've had. But they've really expanded their ability to be able to use these sandboxes. So the trailer itself looked excellent because they showed a lot of gameplay this time around. And on top of that, it's Christmas season, and we live in America, the highest consumer like Republic out there, so everybody's gonna try and buy it.
Say more things, Dan. Say more political things and more things about capitalism, please. Say
capitalism.
Say more things. Lee.
Hey,
okay, go ahead.
What was your term for it? No, what was your term for it? Something of late capitalism. What was your word?
Humans of late capitalism or whatever.
Yeah, there you go. I'm a human of late capitalism.
When we're playing Avatar Frontiers of Pandora on December 7th, we're gonna be those humans of late capitalism for sure. Luis, what'd you make of it, man? Did you get kind of hyped for this?
Let's add to the list 2-player co-op.
Snaps.
It's using the Snowdrop engine, which is interesting. That's one thing I didn't expect. But on top of all that, this game, it was probably the last thing I would have put on my bingo card of like, what game series is going to drop? I did not expect this at all whatsoever.
You're like, you did not get bingo today. I'll just have to get another line.
But that being said, I am intrigued. I am interested. It looks like a really nice world. One thing I couldn't figure out until they said it straight out, I was like, wait, is this game in third person or is it first person? Because they kept kind of showing different shots and they're like, this is a first person game.
Yeah, you don't need to guess any longer. We got you.
There's probably some third-person moments.
It looked like there was possibly some third-person as well, but yeah, it looks interesting. I'm intrigued. I will probably get this day one. Let's see, it's in late December.
Day one.
I know flying on your bird is probably for third-person.
It's two-player co-op.
Two-player co-op. Okay,
yeah.
But we do have. I didn't put it on here on the rundown, but the new Space Marine game. Space Marine 2, I believe that's gonna be
40,000 Warhammer. 40,000.
That's gonna be 3-player co-op. Maybe we dip into that. I know we gave up. One of us, Luis, gave up on Dead Island 2, but that's fine. Mm-hmm. But that's fine. But maybe.
I looked at the game today. I just remembered I bought it. I was like, oh yeah, I do.
Oh yeah, I was playing this.
He bought it. He's not even worried about whether or not he needs to beat it.
But that's fine.
Hey man, I'm just waiting for Anthem 2.
Okay.
I'm sorry, man. I don't think that's ever gonna happen.
You better. They canceled that thing hard, Dalan. They hard. Like it's very deep.
I didn't even touch the first Anthem. All those damn stories.
Well, then that's one reason why they will never make it.
Yeah, because Dalan didn't play it.
I'm not expecting any like game of the year sort of situation from this. I'm expecting just like a fun, sort of interesting time. I don't know if they have any plans to support it after release, but it looks like it should be, fun enough, at least from what I saw.
Decent enough.
You know why it's not going to be game of the year? Because it missed its window. Like freaking Tales of the Tales game that got snubbed last year. I was very upset about it. No, it wasn't Hesperia. It was the last one. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, Tales of Arise or something?
Yeah, that was it.
Wait, what do you mean it got snubbed? I'm gonna go back. Did you nominate it as your game of the year, Dalan? As one of your top 5?
No. The problem is that the game came out before the awards, and it was up for debate on whether or not they would even include it in the awards show.
We got
and they took it out.
But none of those matter.
I care.
No, I mean, we don't care that it missed the cutoff. It came out in the year. You could have put it in your game of the year.
It was on my list.
It was okay. So it was on your top 5. Okay,
it was on my top 5. I did not put the Quarry in my top 5.
Oh, okay, damn! Don't be so offended by this, but I think it was though, because the Quarry was definitely our runner-up. It was our runner-up. So someone.
No, it was our winner.
No, our winner was God of War Ragnarok.
Oh, and God of War Ragnarok number one
was
for
the Quarry.
sure.
But okay, I'm glad that you put Tales of Arise.
But
don't worry about all that, Dan. The only awards that matter are the We Got Comms awards anyway. So you don't gotta worry about that. Anyways, the other thing we did not care about, which was the last showcase, was Capcom Showcase. So I'll just kind of mention some things real quick, so you guys out there are like, these guys didn't talk about Capcom Showcase. Well, here it is. Pragmata. It looked kind of interesting. It's getting a delayed. I like how Kotaku said it in their headline. They said it gets a delayed trailer to quote unquote Oblivion. So we don't know when this game comes out. There basically was a release timeline, and then there wasn't in this latest one. It's like, it's delayed to when?
I didn't know you put that up there.
Probably till when the Sands of Time comes out, Dalan, which is never. I'm sorry to say.
But the game looked beautiful though, so
it does.
I got to see more of it, like actual real gameplay. So hopefully they.
Okay, well, if it looked beautiful, that's something. Because let me tell you, that Sands of Time remake stuff that we were looking at was like, this is rough. They didn't even know if they're probably missing stuff from the FES version or the portable version. They didn't want to mess with that anymore, Dan. They don't want to disappoint you too much. But Pragmata is getting delayed, so thank you for that, Capcom. They're putting together the Ace Attorney games. 4, 5, and 6 is being re-released as an HD bundle. Apollo Justice Ace Attorney drops in 2024. There was a new Dragon's Dogma 2 trailer. You're not a Dragon's Dogma person, Dan? I thought maybe you would be, but no, you're not.
No, I am a Dragon's Dogma person, but the trailer came out well before this, and it was pretty much the same stuff. Okay. They just expanded on the game itself, and like one of the creators was just talking a whole lot, so it really got in the way of the game itself. The one thing I was hoping that they would do with the game that they didn't is it's still not 2-player. The whole time he was like, it feels like a 2-player game. It feels like you're playing with your friends. I'm like, that's not how I want it to be. I want to be playing with 2 players.
But it feels like a 2-player.
But it feels like a 2-player game, right? The other thing, of course, is Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. They said it's going to run on the Resident Evil engine. And that's, people were out there saying it's a DS quote-unquote classic. I never played it. I think I heard a little bit about it. But, yeah, so that's coming back. And Exo Primo, of course, our favorite. That's going to be a dinosaur/robot type of game, I believe, right? But we'll see. That gives a little couple more glimpses of it. Go ahead, Dalan.
No, what was I think we talked about this before. What was that one PC game where you're just killing a bunch of ants? Earth Defense Force. It's Earth Defense Force with dinosaurs. That's what it is.
What more do you need? those buildings better drop like paper mache like they do in Earth Defense Force, man. Because that thing... This defense has no physics, man. Has 0 physics. It's just everything blows up down like the same everywhere. Everything is just dead. So we're getting to the end of the podcast. We're almost there. We got a couple more quick takes, of course. Real quick is the FTC files an injunction to block the Activision Blizzard deal. So it's getting serious out here, I suppose. Not only in the UK, but in the US now. Stephen Totillo said the FTC's initial ongoing suit against Microsoft's Activision bid never had the power to block the deal. It was long expected that they'd sue in federal court to block it. Microsoft's take is that this will get everything closer to a resolution. And I think even Microsoft said, I didn't put the quote in here, but even Microsoft came out and said, it's like, oh, we have a case. We're more than ready to present it. So these guys got their lawyers lined up. And, it's a US-based company. I'm pretty sure they know like the ins and outs a little bit better than whatever they do in the UK in that interesting place that what they use for currency, Dalan? Pounds, Dalan. Pounds.
Oh,
that's what they use for currency out there. But Luis, you kind of have a couple thoughts on this and what's going on, the latest.
I just want to stop hearing about this, man. I just want it seems like anything that happens is just delaying the inevitable.
Yeah.
So, dude, I want to celebrate when this happens.
Yeah.
Just like finally it's over. Like let's fucking go.
Yeah. And all these games on Game Pass too, man. My Call of Duty's on Game Pass. I'm ready for that.
Maybe GeForce Now as well. Who knows?
Okay. Yeah. No insider situation here. Just a general statement. So the Final Fantasy 16 demo is up. I haven't downloaded. I'm still kind of. I don't know if I might want to wait, Dalan. I want to play it. I know you're gonna talk about it. I think in what you've been playing, right? You got some thoughts on it. You played through the demo. I like how Dalan's like. I got you.
I know I said yes here, but I'm just gonna not say anything. I'll wait until
you wait
just
until.
know I played that whole demo.
Okay. You got so what you've been playing. Wait for that. As far as Dalan's concerned, it's a 2-hour plus prologue. It's supposed to be cutscene heavy. One of my favorite things that came out of this was the fact that the developers were like, "Hey, parts of this game were developed by Kingdom Hearts and Platinum Games developers." And all I can think of was, I think it was last week that we talked about it, that they were slightly panicking over pre-order numbers or whatever. And I the whole thing, I was like, please pre-order our game. Kingdom Hearts developers worked on it. Platinum Games worked on it. All your favorite developers worked on it. Please pre-order. But anyways, we'll leave Dalan to talk about that and what you've been playing. But Luis, what do you kind of make of the demo? Or did you play the demo? I don't know if you got a chance to
actually a lot of shit happened today, so I wasn't even able to just download to my console, but I did it right now as we were talking. So it'll be up there. I don't have to check the space or anything because I got 2 terabytes of extended memory, so I'm chilling.
I'm extended memory.
But yeah, personally, I do feel like I might have to play this demo to know if I even want to play it at all.
Yeah,
because I haven't the last Final Fantasy game I played was when they released the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo. And before that, it was maybe like a tactics game. So I personally don't know if I will like the gameplay or whatever, or even just the way that they do the story. So yeah, I'll check it out. 2 hours, very generous. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, if you like it enough, right, the progress carries over, so that's pretty cool. I think that's kind of one of those things that makes me kind of like, I might as well play it. I mean, I'm gonna play the game, right? But we'll see. The other thing is real quick. Ed Boon says that Injustice 3 is still possible. Kotaku was asking him if the door is closed on that because they were kind of alternating between Mortal Kombat and Injustice, and the last two games have been Mortal Kombat games. But he said no, it's possible. Injustice 3 is possible. I think one of the things he mentioned was that they had kind of switched out the engines, or they had there's just developmental hurdles that they had to overcome. But Injustice 3 is still possible. This next one's for Dalan. Reports claim that Final Fantasy Remake is coming. Geoff Grubb claimed this week, and this is via VGC. He said, quote, "I will say I heard very recently, once again, Final Fantasy IX Remake is real. That is real and happening. It was previously listed in a GeForce Now database leak." You don't need to comment, Lise. You don't need to comment on this, but this is one of those leaks that came out a few months ago on the GeForce Now thing. And it's just, little things getting confirmed or at least claimed. And Geoff Grubb, I think he has a good track record. But if this is true, Dalan, you're super hyped for a Final Fantasy IX remake?
I am super hyped for Final Fantasy IX Remake simply because Final Fantasy IX was so good. And on top of that, some fan actually decided to go back and remake the whole opening to Final Fantasy IX. There's like a 30-minute concept demo, and it was made in Unreal Engine 5, and it looked beautiful. So if Square Enix does anything close to what that man's did, it would be an excellent game. So they'll probably do something larger. The one of the reasons that a lot of people were turned off from Final Fantasy IX was because they had little bodies and big heads.
They had chibis. Are those not chibis?
They were the chibis.
Well, and also they kind of returned a little bit to like more classic RPG, right? Or SNES.
You had your white mage, your red mage, your dragoon. They were in a line of 4 because up until then you had like I think it was since Final Fantasy 6, maybe you could only have 3 characters, and they could like interchangeably have classes and stuff like that. So there wasn't really a set class. But then you got to 9, and they were like, we're gonna have set classes. We're gonna talk about the summons, the crystals, and then they started getting back on track with their damn games again. Until they hit 11, and they had to make another joke.
So 9 is we'll see. It's coming. That means I don't have to play 9 at any point soon. I'll just wait for a remake. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, you don't have to play 9.
I made that decision.
If they do it correctly, you don't have to play 9. Okay. You are correct. Okay. But you won't be able to appreciate the differences, though.
I guess. And 7, I gotta get to 7 and make it past the 2 discs worth in the new one too. I got to go back to the original stuff.
That means you need to finish disc 2. My guy, you have no idea.
My guy, and it's on record now. By the way, off wax, we've been messing with Dalan talking about my guy all the time. He's like, my guy. So it's finally made it on wax. Look, the next thing, my guy, is that Shadows of the Damned remastered is coming. This is from 2011. This is one of my. I like this game. Oh, there it is. Go ahead and play. Go ahead and pop it in.
Completely sealed.
Shadows of the Damned Remastered is coming. That got announced. It's a game from 2011. Around that time was Lollipop Chainsaw, and they're also working on that. Ooh. So these are some of these games that kind of were around. If you missed them the first time around, they're kind of they're pretty damn good games. So make sure to check them out. Shadows of the Damned, by the way, is a Mexican protagonist, so I kind of like that, and there's very kind of Mexican-ish vibes to it, which I appreciated. And your shotgun is made out of a skull. The way the bullets come out of, it's a skull head that the bullets come out of. So Shadows of the Damned remaster announced. The next thing we have on here is that Chris Pratt, of all people, is confirming that the Super Mario Brothers movie sequel is quote-unquote paused due to the writer's strike that's going on right now. But of course, Nintendo and Universal don't waste any time, and they're already closing in on a big deal for the Legend of Zelda movie. I know people were a little nervous kind of based on how the first one turned out, which I thought they did a good job. It wasn't necessarily for me, I guess there was certain things, the story could have been much better. There could have been a story. How about that? There could have been a story for me.
For what?
For Super Mario Brothers movie. So they're working on a sequel, and then The Legend of Zelda, if they're going to make it along those veins, I'll try it out. I'll check it out. I'll go watch it.
They did have a story. They took the 1994 Mario movie and said, let's just make this.
Oh, you can't. I remember Dalan bringing this up. I was like, no, the 93 movie is part of the lore, and they're taking that lore and it's part of the new one.
I didn't say it was part of the lore. I'm saying they did the same exact things that they did in the other movie.
So what do you make of the sequel being paused, or even like a Legend of Zelda movie? And
dude, I didn't even know that the sequel was actually being made, but that just confirmed it for me.
It made like $70 billion, Dalan. Of course,
I know, but that doesn't mean
like immediately.
Yeah,
I missed it entirely. I had no idea. But that said, I'm glad that they're going to be making that movie. I'm just hoping the writers get what they need in order to be able to actually continue their work. In a bit of comfort, because they do a hard job. Now, as for them making a Legend of Zelda movie, we did actually touch base on this. My biggest issue with it is the fact that Link does not have a voice. Once he has a voice, that will be his voice. Everybody will associate that voice with Link, period. Doesn't matter what other voice you try and use. He's not exactly the Joker. You can't just take his voice out and replace it with somebody else. Of course, everybody knows that the definitive Joker voice is Mark Hamill, but that's not my point. Point is,
can you make your point, sir? Can you say what your point is, please, Dalan? Please, please. Take over while this man constitutes himself again. I think that's the word. What do you make of this wackiness here?
So let's flip that on its head, right? Mario, you could argue, had a voice. All he did was say, short little one-piece words every once in a while, and sounds when he was jumping and spinning around, so not really speaking. And they said, fuck that voice, we're just going to put Chris Pratt in here. So I don't think that's necessarily going to be an issue with them, like, oh, damn, now every single Nintendo game going forward is going to have to be this voice. They're just going to get the same guy, whatever.
That's it.
They're going to just take his voice back out when they make the future games.
This is the first of many, dude. They're gonna go down the list. They're gonna go down all the Nintendo properties, and they're gonna make them all movies because they've already got Super Mario and Universal Parks. Maybe they're gonna throw in just a Nintendo World section, right? So, and they want to kind of do those tie-ins to make as much money as possible with the movie, with the park, with merch. So it's just gonna keep happening, man.
The Metroid movie.
The train has left the station, man. As far as all this is concerned, everything is coming out now. Everything, as long as they do a good enough job, right? As long as they do a good enough job. And yes, I want a Metroid movie, but I want it in the vein of Alien or something. All right, I want it to be a horror film or something.
Are you sure that there's not going to be an F-Zero live action film?
Oh, you know they're working on that shit, man. So that's what's going on. The Legend of Zelda movie's in the works, and as far as the Super Mario Brothers movie sequel, the writers are on strike, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anything else on that, Luis, or we can move on to the next thing over here?
No, that's it.
All right, the next thing, we did get word, I guess, that EA is out here trying to exploit NCAA football players at $500 a pop for their likeness rights, and they're saying no royalty. So basically, here's $500, young man. We're going to put you in this football game that's going to make us millions and millions and millions of dollars. Players are being urged to boycott. But what do you make of this, Lee? It's a little wacky.
This is worse than what I thought it was. So what I thought was that the players had to pay $500 to get their likeness in the game. But
that's what I thought.
This is the reverse, where they're like, here's $500, we have your likeness, thank you very much.
It's like the song that they bought for GTA 5 and then they got sued.
Oh, damn. So yeah, this is way worse than what I thought it was. This is super messed, considering the fact that, well, I mean, I guess in a way it kind of makes sense, I guess, because I honestly didn't even know they were still making NCAA titles or anything.
They haven't been making. I think they're coming back to making them, right? And they're like, here's $500 for everything's good, right? You don't need royalties or anything. This is what they fought for, right? By the way, if you guys don't follow it, it's the NCAA for a long time. It was like, what do you need to get paid for? Your school is your payment, which it's fine, right? So for a lot of players, because not everyone's gonna make it to the NFL, NBA, whatever. Yeah. For a lot, yes, this payment is the school, but some of these guys are like definitely getting exploited, right? Like to like be in the biggest games and they make millions and millions of dollars. So it's gone from that to like now players can get paid, but it's like, oh, now players can get paid. Here you go, $500. A lawyer? You don't need a lawyer for that. Here's a check. Go buy
yourself a book.
Go buy yourself a book.
Buy yourself a book.
What do you need a lawyer for? Just so. It's pretty whack. I'm pretty sure this isn't the last we hear about this. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some.
I mean, considering how much money EA and NCAA have, so this is a huge slap in the face for sure if they're gonna make this.
Yeah. The next thing we have on here is that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I put TNT, by the way, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is getting Usagi Yojimbo as a new DLC. I'm a little surprised you noted, Dalan, because, I mean, we had a lot of fun with the original. You wouldn't buy the DLC.
Oh, yeah, I know. I found my list of games for my game of the year. That was my number 5 with Shredder's Revenge because I enjoyed the hell out of that game.
Are we jumping in for the DLC potential? I guess it depends what it is, right?
Unless they give more story, there's not really a reason to jump in. I mean, yeah, it's fun to try and... I'm not trying to... What is it called? I'm not trying to be a completionist of that game. Okay. So I'm not trying to get every character. But you give me more game, I'll go back.
We did have fun with that game for like a whole... 2 hours, right? Like over the course of 2 days.
No, that was way more than 2 hours.
It was like 2 hours. Man, that game's not that long. It's a super short game.
It wasn't that long, but we played it for like 5 days straight. We were playing it for a good long time each time.
I feel like the concept of time that you have is skewed, but like in the most wrongest way. You know what I'm saying, Dalan? Like
you're welcome. I know you love my time dilation. It's fine.
Time dilation. That's what it is, huh? Talking about we spent 3 weeks on that game. It's like we played it over 2 drunken nights. I guess.
I'd say that about what was that? Streets of Rage 4. We did that over like 2 nights. That was super. We were trying to beat that game before it left the game.
By the way, I don't know if you're ever interested. At least that's like a 6-player game, man. 6-player game, and you can have co-op. Like you can have, your sister, whoever playing next to you.
Yeah,
and
talking about
play
Ninja
online.
Turtles, by the way.
Yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, it's a little wacky. Anyways, the next thing we have on here, I wasn't sure to mention it, but I guess it's on the rundown, so we have to mention it. But Deo might be coming to LA for Anime Expo. I don't know if that's doxing him. I think he's gonna be like, "What the fuck, guys?" But just tell us, Dale. Just tell us. Come back on the podcast and tell us. But I think he might be out here.
Coming down?
He might be down here for the Anime Expo, and we might be hanging out. I'm thinking. I do have a recorder. Maybe we could do an on-site recording potentially. I don't know. But what are your thoughts about this man coming down to LA-ish area, at least? I think he's still working on it, though. Maybe it's not kind of set in stone. But if he does, Kokuichi Bani-chan for sure.
Oh, for sure. We gotta check. And I mean, just in
general, can we go get it anyway?
That's what I was gonna get to. I just need to go there in general. So it sounds like it's an excuse to we gotta make it out there,
Yeah.
But yeah, I have an audio interface that takes 2 microphones. We have laptops. We could totally record something and possibly do a live recording session. That could go.
Oh, that could go
completely sideways,
off the rails for sure.
I could finally throw. I'm gonna bring a plushie just to throw at Carlos because I fucking hate
him. Maybe we see what Louis Racino's rate is to kind of set something up like that.
Oh, that's
that would
true.
Be nice,
that's true. Okay, Louis, I'm gonna link him to the podcast too. One of the homies.
All right, let's talk about that later, though.
We'll talk about it off wax. But look, we'll end it on what you've been playing. There's a lot, man. This last week was very E3ified for sure, man. There was a lot going on, and I'm sure the next couple of days we'll still have a couple more things to talk about. So stay tuned for the next episode. But for now, what you've been playing, Luis? You didn't write anything on here. Is you kind of just been chilling? I didn't
write it, but I do have some stuff. Okay. And it's going way back into the backlog. Not even backlog, just catalog of stuff. One day, randomly, I was like, you know what? I want to replay Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, just out of the blue. Completely came out of the blue. So I dropped Tokyo Ghostwire Tokyo is like I'm almost done with that game, dude, and I completely just dropped it. Legend of Zelda, what was it? The one that I was playing?
Tears of the Kingdom.
No, the old one that's like
the Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening, yeah.
That's been cast to the side. I'm just fully.
He's like, I have a shelf now. I shelved everything.
And if I'm not playing Red Dead, I'm in Warzone right now. So that's kind of my whole situation. But what I'm doing in Red Dead, because I kind of went through this YouTube rabbit hole where they show like stuff that, oh, this like rare cutscene or whatever in the game. So I was like, you know what? There's a bunch of stuff I've just never seen in this game. Let me take my sweet ass time with it. So I've been, I was playing this game for maybe a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, and I'm barely moved on last night. Like the very first mission, you move to the camp that's like right near the roads area. So that's chapter 3. But yeah, I spent a shitload of time in the first camp that you go to, Horseshoe Overlook, where I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna collect all the cigarette cards first, because there's this cutscene that you can see if you have all the cigarette cards and you hand them to the guy where he's like, if you get. So I'm doing stuff like that. I'm hunting and getting all of the camp upgrades when you hunt perfect animals and shit. That's taking dude, moose never spawn anywhere. You can't find moose at all.
Hey man, you gotta go further out into the map. You gotta expand.
Cougars.
It's not the season yet.
Panthers kill you even faster, so you can get a perfect.
Wait, Panthers kill you faster than immediately?
Yeah, like as soon as it spawns on the radar, you have maybe a second and a half to react, and then if you kill them, you might mess up the pelt. So there's that whole if you shoot them wrong. But yeah, I'm just in it. I'm going to be playing this game for a while because I'm going to be taking it really slow.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm
at. I know. That's one of those games, dude. It's like even the critical path took me forever, man, to finally get to, we're building houses now. I'm like, okay, reasonable. This is what we're doing now. It's such a long game. It was a great journey, though. But I will say there's a lot to that game. So I can.
There's going through eras.
Yeah, it's definitely trying to get everything done. Yeah, good luck, man.
I might try to platinum it this time around.
Ooh, okay, that'll get really interesting. Is that all you've been playing, Luis?
Yeah, that's it. And just getting a bunch of chicken dinners in Warzone that I don't get with our usual crew.
No, snap. Hey, stop diming them out.
Maybe that's probably why I don't play, man. It's like, what am I to just jump down and die? Like, we're going to get 50
As soon as we land, we're going to get shot dead in a little corner.
Maybe that's what's missing from my Warzone career, man, is the fact that it's like, what am I to just land and die? This is what we're doing out here. But look, me and Dalan actually played 2 games not together. Well, yeah, Destiny 2 we played together, Season of the Deep. That thing is very interesting. It kind of reminds me of Sonic, man. Like it's Sonic. I don't know if you mentioned it like that, Dalan, but it's very like Sonic, where you're like, you gotta grab those pockets of air is like before you drown. But I do like the animation of like your helmet is like cracking. It's like
it's cracking because you're in the
the pressure.
The deeper you go.
You're in the Season of the Deep, right? You go super deep too. I like how part of the interface is like you're 1,000 meters deep. You're 5,000 meters. It's like I'm feeling the pressure around here. So I
watching with the glass on my fucking screen.
Crack. But they do give you a lot of time. It's not really like constantly you have to look for these bubbles, but you want to.
Bubbles are everywhere, though.
Yeah, they're everywhere, and it's also like your thing is cracking for like a good minute before you're like, okay, it's enough. You didn't find a bubble in this time. You should have found one. And it also reminds me a little bit of BioShock, so I kind of like that, right? Some of like how the waves are underground. So it's definitely, they did something really interesting, I think, with this latest expansion here.
But we found it's slightly difficult to do everything solo. You can do a lot of things solo, but then Carlos got caught up in a specific spot. He was like, Dalan, can't beat this boss.
Yeah, because I like to do the story specific stuff alone, right? Just to get all the beautiful sounds just by myself. I don't have to hear Dalan speaking, right? But some of these levels are kind of hard.
I'm like, hold on, why are you putting that on me?
I mean, it's
Look
true.
in the mirror,
I mean,
sir.
it's true. Well, yeah, but I'm not talking while I'm playing the game, dude. I'm not listening to myself. But anyways,
Luis has something to say about
there
that.
are some of the bosses to like, when you get to the end of some of these levels are like, even you, Dalan, you Mr. Master Gamer, was like, yeah, I was hiding under a bridge for a little while, and
I beat it though.
Yeah, no, and I beat it too, but it's a little rough. Some of these levels are a little rough unless you're like, you definitely need a co-op partner. But I'm having fun with it. I mean, of course, we did get to, like you mentioned previously, we got to the point where it's like repetitive, right? Like you get the cool story bits and they're fresh, and then you get to
then you get that one arena that you have to go do.
Yeah, and then go do this 3 times. I'm like, so I'm leaving those for co-op. But
they got the new dungeon, and they're going to be dropping a third dungeon. So we need to get into those dungeons.
Oh, that's
the last one we actually did, in one good shot.
Whenever you're ready, Luis, for this dungeon, we're more than ready. We're ready for it.
Sure,
we need you.
Jump in for a dungeon.
Okay. We need you. You know, that season of deep. I don't any thoughts on that, Dalan, or
No, you said it all.
Okay. We also, for me, Humanity, I talked about it last week. I game tape solved it. I think I was just one level left or two. But yeah, I had a fun enough game. It gets super wacky. Like some of the boss sections, like you're fighting a big human, you're fighting a big ball, and it's all like it's all made up,
orbs.
And it's made up of like flying humans, right? So and you're a little dog just barking away, just kind of doing it. But I think I've mentioned it before too, so I'll make it quick to get to your thoughts, Dalan. But I'm not cut out for these puzzle games, man. It's very frustrating. It takes so long. I think my track record was pretty good on Humanity, though. I think I would say half of them I did on my own, and the other half is like I'm looking up a video, man. This I've seen it now.
Damn.
But the game itself knows how hard it is. That if you press start, you can see a video. They give you a video of how to do it. So even the game.
But they say it'll go against your stats when you do it. Though.
Guess what, Dalan? There's a thing called the internet. There's a thing called your phone.
Oh yeah, I know.
And there's a thing called YouTube that you just look it up and it's like, what stats? It doesn't count against any stats. So, but yes,
I'll admit I'm 3/4 of the way through the game, and when I got like halfway through the game, that's when you told me your puzzles took you like 15 minutes per puzzle. Yeah. I was breezing through them until they got to the point where it brought in the others, and then they were killing my people before I could do anything. I'm like, all right, it's starting to get frustrating, and then it's starting to get downright impossible a couple of times. So like, I have no idea how to get past these people because they are killing me way faster than I can kill them. What do I do? So I had like 2 or 3 levels where I had to look at
all of a sudden we're looking up videos, Dylan. All of a sudden we're looking up videos.
Hey, after sitting on a stage for like half an hour, dying multiple times, I think it's time.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Some of those levels are like you're gonna be on that shit for a while and never figure it out. And then when you look up the videos, like how the fuck was I supposed to know you're supposed to do? Like, how did I know that I was supposed to start these characters going this way and then follow them and then go behind them and then go under them at the exact right time?
One of them, it was like there was the stop motion thing that you do, and there were blocks on the stage that all your people are supposed to push. I did not know that you could push the blocks before you start the puzzle because they had the power button you can start the puzzle with, and I did not know you could push the blocks before, and I was like, oh, that made things way easier.
You're gonna finish it, Dalan? No, do you promise me no more looking up videos though? That's my question right now. Promise me that
like I said, I only looked up like 2 or 3 videos, unlike you and your 15, 16 videos.
I don't care. But I said that up front. You're Mr. Master Gamer. I don't use assist on Candy World or whatever Mario Kart level that you put assist on, all right?
Okay. Candy World!
Whatever it's called, man.
I hate you so much. I'm going to try my best. I try my best not to use videos. We'll see. I have struggled through a couple of levels and like, oh, I figured it out. It took me a while, but I figured it out. So I'm averaging like 10 minutes a stage.
They take a while, man, especially because some of it, and without that, now would you have rage quit if you didn't have that fast forward button? And that's a little slow sometimes, that fast forward button.
There were a few levels where that fast forward button came in clutch. Like, I'll accidentally not flip an arrow back the other way, and I'll start the whole thing, and I'm holding R2. I'm like, oh, they're all going the wrong way. This is not going to work. Let me restart this mission.
Yeah. I do, dude. Some of these things are like, imagine if they weren't there, right? Like the fast forward and the keep the commands on the board, dude. Imagine if you had to like put all the commands all over again, but
every single time.
So Humanity, Dylan. Can I get to my game, I guess, and then we'll get to what you've been playing? Or you got anything else on Humanity?
No, for Humanity, it's definitely a fun game. I plan on platinuming it. That's what I'm doing.
All right. So the last game I played before we get to kind of what Dalen's been playing, especially that Final Fantasy 16. Please keep it spoiler light though, Dalen. Please. But I did play Street Fighter 6 very quickly. The World Tour mode. The only thing I can say is be careful when you make your characters. I made a character with she had a lot of personality, shall we say, and this personality when she was jumping around and the world was like, these are too humongous, like I need to like tone it down. So I'm still waiting to get to, if you're playing World Tour mode, you won't be able to modify your character till like I guess a little while's in, so make sure you do that. But it's really wacky. The little World Tour mode is just a bunch of like, it sort of reminds me of Yakuza a little bit. You're just walking around and picking fights with random people, so that's cool. It's like just fight anybody.
You're street fighting?
You are literally street fighting. But I'm having fun with it. I like the combat system. I don't get into these games that deep where I know kind of like how Deo, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, make sure to check that out where Deo kind of, I think, broke it down quite well, where he's like, oh, it's a return to form and all that. I'm just, having fun with the little World Tour mode. Eventually, I think I'll venture into online, or maybe when you grab a copy, Dalan, we can kind of get down and try a few matches. But I only played a little bit. I'm still going to kind of dip into it a little bit more. What have you been playing, Dalan, before we kind of get up out of here on the supersized E3 episode? E3, not E3 episode.
On the E3, not E3. Really quick, I did want to actually say, Jonathan decided to try and call me out. Yo, Dalan, I got like 2 hours into that Street Fighter 6. I'm ready for that ass.
Oh, okay.
It's your brother.
Hey, man.
He's trying to
Don't
hit me
be
up.
scared. Don't be scared. Just stop being scared.
As soon as I get it, I'm down to get like 20 minutes. No, I'm not even going to practice. I'm just going to jump in.
We'll not even going to practice. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And we'll see what happens.
So what have you been up to, Dalan?
Aside from Humanity and Destiny as per usual, I went on a little rampage to try and beat Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and I did tape solve that, so I completed that game, and I wanted to platinum it. The game was actually so good that I wanted to do everything, but one thing shut me down, which was a bug that completely stops you from doing an entire quest line, and it makes it literally impossible to platinum the game. And I said, why am I going to even try if I literally cannot do it? The EA knows that this thing is broken. So partway into the game, you meet a bounty hunter. She says, we're going to give you bounties. I'm going to give you bounties so you can go find that person, kill them, and bring back their puck. But she never gives you a bounty. She does not give you a bounty at all. Very first bounty, she doesn't give to you. And I looked it up online. 75 to 100% of the time, the whole game is bugged because of it. So I'm like, all right, fine. I'm just gonna skip that. I'm just gonna main course the game. Critical Pathing made that game excellent, and I can tell you right now.
Hold on, Dalan. Let me let you in on a little secret. Critical Pathing makes every game more excellent.
No,
don't be stopping to smell the roses. All right, just
no,
go,
no. For
go.
This game, the side pathing is actually fun by itself because they're all they're all Jedi missions. They're all very Jedi oriented. Every time you go up, they literally give you side missions because it's open world. You need like a little mission to like help a person pull their skiff out of a swamp, or save the people from the mines, or go and get this power.
A little like Peru mission, huh? A little Peru missions, like get the children out the mine, huh? Okay.
Yeah, but they're all different stories. So it's actually it's honestly a really fun game, even with the side quest. But you could very easily get sidetracked in that game and still be having fun. But the game is beautiful. Mm-hmm. The gameplay is excellent, especially for the fact that you have way more stances, and I think I told you already, so I'm just going to say it out loud. They eventually give you a gun.
Spoilers, man? Come on, what's going on here, Dalan?
Honestly, it's a great game, great story, and I highly advise it to anybody.
How do you get past that? How do you get around that bug situation for people that are interested, or if you were to consider going back?
You don't. It's still broken.
Okay. There's no way.
Okay. All right, so what actually ended up happening is that for anybody who does get impacted by the bug, you end up going through the entire game, and there's a new game plus, and you get to keep all your stuff. And when you go through the new game plus mode, all the bounty people are already dead. So you're randomly finding pucks as you're going through the story the second time. And then you can potentially get the trophy if the last guy spawns for you. And if he doesn't spawn for you, you still can't.
Do you get multiple save options? You can save in different slots. I don't know if you could in the original.
Yes, you can.
Okay, then
you can in this.
Just
one.
be careful.
But
just be careful out there. Dalan,
no, people said they did it and it still didn't work.
Dalan, what we've been waiting for, man. Final Fantasy 16, your review based on 2 hours of playing the demo of are we picking up this game or not? Is Luis gonna be interested in this game or not?
Yes, 100%. Even in the demo, they give you that nice taste of what was the show we kept talking about?
Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
No spoilers.
You a taste of
but you're getting taste of it.
In the demo, they give you that taste of Game of Thrones. They got blood. Somebody got. You know what? I'm not.
Please,
please,
Dalan, light on spoilers, please.
But I'll say it this way: someone died, and it was very graphic.
Okay.
And they got sad moments, happy moments. They brought back the Chocobos, made them a very large staple of this game. You don't actually get to ride them in the demo, unfortunately, but I'm sure you'll be able to at some point in the game. Yes, the demo is very story heavy, but the fighting is also excellent and smooth the entire time. You're basically not this with fire.
Now, you as a traditional Final Fantasy gamer, you're convinced. You're like, this is beautiful. This is the next Final Fantasy game for me.
Okay. So when you say traditional, the problem there is that the traditional is turn-based fighting. This game, not turn-based fighting at all.
Yes.
At all.
Yes.
So you are just out there, action, adventure, squares attack, triangles magic, circles dash. All right. You even have a jump button. All right. You got your dodge. You might have a block if you get a shield later. But the fact is, you got all these things, and you can use special abilities and stuff like that. You have the Kingdom Hearts D-pad, and you have nice items that you can use every so
Final
often.
Fantasy remake-ish? We're talking here?
I'd say they took Final Fantasy Remake and Final Fantasy 15 and took the best parts of those and put them in this.
Okay. I like that. Do I need to play the demo, Dalan, before the final game, or should I just wait to enjoy the whole majesty and magicalness of the whole entire game? What do you think?
Honestly, if you think that you're going to get hooked right off the bat, just wait for the game. But if you're not convinced yet, I highly advise playing the demo. It will then get you hooked.
Okay. You're ready, though. You're ready.
I'm very much ready. They let me play as a summon. I was Phoenix. Okay. All right. I was shooting Ifrit.
You said a lot of words there that like did not register with me, but I
got to play a summon, fighting a summon. That's what I did.
Yeah. But
I feel like I still don't know.
Yeah, but I think I might hold off, man. I think I'm gonna get too hyped. How about this? Are you too hyped for it now? And you're like, oh, when does July or June 10 days from now happen? It's 10 days from now, actually.
Look, after you beat the main demo story portion, they give you an extra challenge mode. After we're done recording, I'm going to go upstairs and play that challenge mode because they set it into the future when you have more abilities, and they want you to just get a feel for the battle, so they let you run through a dungeon. I'm down to do that.
Damn, I don't know, man. I'm really at a loss for what I'm going to do next. But look, Carlos Macias, the master of... What'd you say, Dalan, earlier? Damn, you forgot.
It was
so long
DirecTV cancellations.
DirecTV cancellations, Macias. Damn, I canceled it. These guys, I don't know if I said it, but I don't know if they're going to charge me.
Canceled?
I don't know if they're going to charge me again. I'm not really sure. I think Luis said it right. I think he's like, they already charged you. I'm like, I looked at my bank, but I think it's one of those things that it's like on hold. It's there. It's in the ether. it just hasn't processed or whatever, but we'll see. I guess we'll find out, but I definitely cancel. Carlos Macias, Dalan Kirkwood from Up in the Mountains, super hooked on Final Fantasy 16, and it's going to be like itching.
Man, you think it sounds like I'm addicted to 16, which I might be. So.
Yeah, see, exactly. Now you got to wait be happy waiting 10 days, Dalan, to experience the rest of that, all right? And please to enjoy. But thank you for taking the bullet for us. I think Luis, though, it still needs to be a little convinced, right? Luis, you're going to kind of tap into like, well, we'll see if I kind of hit this up.
Yeah,
but
I got to check it out.
But
it's already ready to play.
There it is. Dalan Kirkwood.
Check it out.
Dalan Kirkwood from the Mountains, of course, the man on the wheels of steel. Luis, thank you for hanging out with us, man. We keep telling people, we promise you he's alive. He's just been busy. He's just been busy. But thank you.
Time to work on this 2-hour-long episode. So
it's the E3 not E3 episode. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Hope you enjoyed this show here. Latest.